There's quite a bit of news going around the Championship at the moment, and in today's video we are here to discuss all the latest goings on. So we got a lot more transfer rumours to discuss in today's video, and as well as that, a lot of managerial news. We've seen 3 new managers appointed, also perhaps some unsettled managers at some Championship clubs, which we'll also be discussing in today's video. And as always, I'm interested to know what transfer rumours have you seen over the past 7 days. So first of all, last week we saw Swansea appoint their new manager, Steve Cooper, the former England under-17s manager. I'm interested to see how he gets on in the Championship and at Swansea. Before this appointment, he's managed several youth teams, so this is his first chance in the EFL, and I mean, it fits in with Swansea's policy. You know, they've got a very young squad in there, they're looking to build in a process, and so they were going to bring in a manager who had that similar philosophy, and I think this could be a good move. You know, he did very well with the England under-17s, won the under-17 World Cup back in 2017. Swansea fans, let me know down below what you make of this appointment. And Jonathan Woodgate now has his first managerial role, as he's been given the job at Middlesbrough. This one was strongly linked, we've talked about it on the channel before, but Borough fans, what do you make of this appointment? I find it quite an interesting one. I'm a bit 50-50 as to how I think this one will go. He's obviously someone who already knows the ins and outs of the club, but it sets Borough up for an interesting season next time. But the biggest new name coming into the Championship is going to be Slaven Bilic, the new West Brom manager. I'm very excited to see how he fares next season at the Baggies. Now, for quite a while now, there's been this sort of sense of dread hanging over West Brom, you know, with Dwight Gale leaving, some of their other key players being linked away. There's been rumours that there won't be that much money spent in this transfer window, but now appointing Slaven Bilic, I think they've made a really big statement with that. I find him to be quite a charismatic manager. I'm looking forward to seeing how he carries himself at West Brom next season, but I do think this could be really quite a good appointment actually. I'm quite impressed by this one. There's also quite a bit of drama going on around Birmingham at this point in time, and there's some uncertainty over Gary Monk's future there. A story came out a couple of days ago saying that there is tension at the moment between the manager and the owners. Honestly, if Gary Monk was to leave Birmingham, that would be an absolute disaster. I know all the fans there, you know, absolutely love him, and for everything he's done at the club while he's been there, it would be a massive setback if they were to lose him at this stage. And of course, the news around Frank Lampard at the moment potentially being the next Chelsea manager, the news which no Derby fan wanted to hear. When I'm recording this video, Chelsea haven't yet approached Derby for talks for Frank Lampard, and I'm a bit 50-50 as to whether I think this will happen or not. One thing that I would say, if that was to happen, I think that could trigger sort of a managerial merry-go-round in the Championship then. You know, Derby would look for a new manager, potentially poaching someone off someone else in the league, and that could then lead to a bit of a chain reaction of a number of managers leaving. So it's certainly one to keep your eye on over the next few days. I'm sure all the Derby fans are hoping that Lampard's going to stay put. In terms of some of the completed deals which have gone through in the league in the past few days, we saw Luke Thomas complete his move from Derby, moving to Barnsley. Spent last season out on loan at Coventry, in that time scored 4 goals and picked up 5 assists. Only 20 years old, the winger. I think this could be a really good purchase from Barnsley actually. They were in need of some cover there. I think if he continues to develop at this current rate, then Derby could regret letting him go in a couple of years. QPR have also been the club very busy in the past few days. They completed the signing of Lee Wallace coming over from Rangers, a popular player while he was there in Scotland. And they also completed the signing of Liam Kelly coming over from Livingston, the 23-year-old goalkeeper who used to play for Rangers. Obviously Mark Warburton there using his connections, but a very promising goalkeeper, only 23 years old. And Tommy Elphick has also come in at Huddersfield Town, an experienced Championship defender coming in there. I don't think will do them any wrong. But those were some of the deals which have gone through in the past couple of days. But now, without further ado, let's hop into some transfer rumours. One of the biggest news stories going around the Championship at the moment is the interest in Ryan Sessegnon from Tottenham. Now, despite not having the best of years in the Premier League last time with Fulham, there is still going to be a lot of interest in him, and Spurs now have been interested in him for, I want to say, about 3 seasons or something. They've always been on his tail, but Fulham have apparently attached a £35 million price tag on the 19-year-old, which begs the question, will Spurs pay that? I'd be surprised with the way that Daniel Levy is and the way that he likes to operate, but I actually do think that this deal will happen this summer. Whether Spurs will shell out 35 million, I'm not so sure, but I think that eventually an agreement will be made, and I could see that one coming through. And a very interesting rumour about David Turnbull at the moment potentially making a move to Sheffield Wednesday. We spoke about him on the last transfer rumour roundup video. There was quite a bit of Championship interest in the player. It was looking like Celtic were the club who were most interested and most likely to pursue a deal for the 19-year-old. However, a report came out the other day that Sheffield Wednesday are intending to hijack that move. Now, the price tag on him is around about £3 million. Do Sheffield Wednesday have that money to be splashing around at the moment? I'm not so sure, but he's a player who I would like to see in the Championship. Only 19 years old, in 30 appearances last season, he scored 15 goals from midfield and picked up 4 assists. Steve Bruce has got a bit of a history in delving into this market. You know, we saw him do it at Aston Villa when he picked up John McGinn at the start of last season, how well that worked out for Villa. Cardiff are reportedly on the verge of completing the deal for Curtis Nelson coming over on a free transfer after his contract ran out at Oxford. Sunderland were another club who were heavily heavily interested in the defender, but it's looked like he's chosen Cardiff as his preferred destination. And it's also looking like a deal for Will Vokes is getting closer as well. This would be a tremendous signing for Cardiff in my view. A perfect replacement for Aaron Gunnarsson, brings a lot of similar qualities into that midfield. He's only 25 years old, great engine on him, and very tidy on the ball as well. I think he'll fit in well to Warnock's side. My team Preston has rejected another bid for Callum Robinson. Obviously, with him only having 1 year left in his contract, Preston find themselves in a bit of an awkward situation at the moment. Honestly, I think we'll be holding out for around about £12 million. I think as soon as the bids start to get around that zone, we'll probably be tempted to sell. But it would be a real shame. He really came of age last season, and if he didn't pick up that injury, he could have gone on to score, over 20 goals. He was on target for that. It's not been confirmed as of yet who the unnamed Premier League club is who has been bidding for him. It's probably most likely to be Sheffield United, possibly Aston Villa, maybe Bournemouth. A move to the Premier League would be the natural progression for Robinson in his career, but I'd be gutted to see him leave at this point. A former Preston target, Muric from Manchester City, is now on the radar of Nottingham Forest. It's looking like he'll be made available to go out on loan this season as Pep Guardiola wants him to build up some experience. A very highly rated goalkeeper. I think whoever does end up with him for this season will be in good hands actually. And Forest also have Albert Adoma on their radar. Being a free agent now, he was always going to attract quite a bit of interest. Last season for Villa, scored 4 goals and got 2 assists. Didn't put up the best numbers, wasn't his best year really, but he's looking for a new challenge now. I think he'd be a decent signing for Forest really. He is 31 and has perhaps lost a bit of that sharpness from previous years, but even so I think he'd still do a good job in the Championship, a good player to have around the dressing room as well. It's been reported currently that Preston could be making our first signing this week, and so we'll go through a couple of players who that player could be. Patrick Bauer from Charlton Athletic, their Wembley hero after scoring the winner against Sunderland to get them promoted, could be on his way out of Charlton. His contract is up at the end of the month. They have offered him a new deal, but it's not looking too likely that he'll actually sign. And so being available on a free transfer, Preston could swoop in to get the defender. Now there has been a lot of interest from other Championship clubs, Blackburn, Wigan and Birmingham, all clubs who have seen linked to his name, but it may be Preston who do beat them all to his signature. This is an area where I do think we do need to strengthen. I would like to see Ben Davies and Jordan Storey as our main partnership going into next season, but with it being probably quite likely that Huntington will be going this summer, I would like to see us get this deal over the line. I think it'll serve us well going into next season. Defensively, we did leak quite a few silly goals last season. Another player who's available on a free transfer and Preston have been linked to is striker James Wilson. I'm not really too sure what I make of this. His injury record over his career so far hasn't been brilliant, and his goal scoring record equally to that isn't anything to shout about. In his recent loan spell with Aberdeen, he scored 4 goals in 32 appearances. And another player who will be made available either on the loan or for a transfer this season is going to be Jordan Hugo at West Ham. So the question I asked the Preston fans, would you take Hugo back at Preston? Last season he scored 7 goals while out on loan at Middlesbrough. I think it's pretty much nailed on that he will be making his move back to the Championship for whoever fancies him most. Free agent James Morrison's been linked all around at the moment, with the club said to be interested: Bristol City, Reading and Blackburn Rovers. He didn't really feature that much last season for West Brom. He made 11 starts and came off the bench 10 times. The 33-year-old will come in and look to add experience to someone's midfield, and quite similar to a lot of other deals really, this one will probably be dependent on wages. Reece Gilmartin could be off to Bristol City from Colchester United. I've read over what the Colchester fans make of the goalkeeper, and it's fair to say they don't hold him in very high regard. It's a bit of a bizarre signing, this one. He's 32 years old and hasn't really played that much football throughout his career. For the majority of it, he's been sort of a backup goalkeeper sat on the bench. So I'm also interested to know what Bristol City's plans are with Max O'Leary, whether they intend him to be the #1 next season or they're looking to send him out on loan for experience. But this one would be a bit of a weird one. Derby County is said to be looking at Polish centre-back Damien Oko. The 22-year-old centre-back is said to be valued at around about £2 million, and from what I've read about him, looks to be a ball-playing centre-back, so would fit into the way Derby like to play. Side Ben Roma is still attracting a lot of attention from Aston Villa in the Premier League. Obviously, after getting double figures in both goals and assists last season, he's always going to be a player who is in quite high demand. However, the price tag that Brentford have apparently slapped to them is around about £20 million, which I'm not sure Aston Villa would be willing to shell out. Stoke look like they're going to complete the deal for Barnsley defender Liam Lindsay. I think it's obvious from looking at Stoke's transfer targets so far that they're looking to change up the approach of who they went in for last season. Last time they were going for big names on big price tags, probably big wages as well. They're looking to reverse that for this transfer window, and I mean, I myself think they're building in the right direction going down this path. I think the fee could rise to about £2.5 million, but he impressed last season in League One with Barnsley, and he's a player who Dale, I'm sure, will be sad to see go. And Blackburn Rovers could be going in for former player Grant Hanley on a possible loan deal from Norwich. Didn't feature all too much last season, Grant Hanley for Norwich, so possibly a move back to the Championship on loan could be on the cards for him. Although one player who they are hoping to keep hold of is of course going to be Daryl Hannah, who is reportedly a target for Sheffield United in the Premier League. I think that his development over the past few years, one player who Blackburn need to be keeping hold of over this transfer window, I'm in no doubt. It's looking like Ajaria could be heading back for Reading on another season-long loan after he did fairly well out there last season, scored 1 goal and picked up 2 assists in 16 appearances. David Nugent was one player who I saw being linked with Luton Town. Honestly, I'm a bit mixed about what I think about David Nugent at this point in time, if I'm being honest. It depends sort of what striker Luton are really after. He's going to be available on the free transfer, so I'm sure that someone is going to take the gamble on him. I think if you do go in for a player like Nugent, you need to accommodate the team around him. Craig Dawson has emerged as a target for Watford. This is one move which I think realistically probably will go through. Actually, Craig Dawson was being linked to the Premier League last season. The move didn't come off for him, and I think if his valuation is met, then it's more than likely that he will be moving on. And obviously then that'll leave another position where West Brom are going to need to strengthen in the summer. Brighton defender Ben White looks to be a target for Leeds United as they go in pursuit of some loan deals. You know, we spoke about Leeds quite a bit on the last transfer rumour roundup video, but it's looking like, judging by their targets, they're looking to take full advantage of the loan market this season. And I mean, when you look at how well it served Aston Villa last season, it may be a sensible route to go down. And Leeds winger Jack Clarke remains to be a target for Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, when I record this video, the odds have seriously been slashed on him joining Spurs. I know he's a player who Leeds fans wanted to keep hold of. They've got high hopes for him going forward into the future, but if the price tag was met, then he could be making his move to the Premier League. And for the back-chain midfielder, Tolga Arslan has appeared as a potential target for West Brom this summer, as Slaven Bilic looks to put his mark on the team. Former Cardiff winger Kadeem Harris is available on a free transfer for this summer, and it's looking like Sheffield Wednesday, who are the club who are most interested at the moment. I think he'd be a player who would add something to this Wednesday dynamic going forward. They are a side who is in need of a little bit more of an injection of pace going forward, and I think that a player like Harris would add that. Joe Hart's been talked about potentially moving to the Championship and to Stoke City if they are to lose Jack Butland. However, Bournemouth also remain to be interested in the Burnley goalkeeper. The question I would ask to Stoke fans is, would you take that Jack Butland for Joe Hart? Let me know down below. And Millwall are looking to splash the cash this window, reportedly offering £2.5 million for Portsmouth winger Jamal Lowe. He's a player who I'm looking forward to seeing if he does make that move to the Championship. Last season scoring 15 goals and popping up with 8 assists last season. Just the sort of quality that Millwall are in need of out wide. And there has been a lot of Championship interest in Lowe, so if Millwall do beat everyone else to his signature, that will be some statement from them. Probably the most bizarre transfer rumour going around at the moment is Swansea, who are hopeful of getting Reece James on loan for this season. Obviously, there's a bit of a connection there with Reece James and Steve Cooper formerly working together with the England under-17 setup, but with how well he did at Wigan last season, I can't for the life of me see him being back in the Championship next season. He's either got to be either playing for Chelsea or loaned out to the Premier League. Although on international duty, Reece James has picked up an injury and may be out for a couple of months, so maybe after that they'll want to send him back out on loan to the Championship to build himself back up again. I don't know, but I mean, what a signing it would be. I just can't for the life of me see it happen. And QPR and Millwall have both been linked to Doncaster striker John Marquis. Last season in League One, scoring 22 goals. Preston played Doncaster in the FA Cup last season, and I've got to say he was one player who really stood out to me. A very strong player going forward, great hold-up play. He brings others into the game, and he's got a real life goal. Will be a very good signing. But guys, there you have it. That will wrap it up for this episode of the Championship transfer rumour roundup. If you've seen any other rumours that we didn't mention in today's video, make sure to get them in the comments down below. But apart from that, that will now wrap it up. So thank you so much for watching. If you did go in to enjoy, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. Make sure you do subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, I'll see you all in the next one.